Good morning, everybody. Well, my audio is like all sorts of messed up. I hope that's loud enough for you guys. It seems like it's probably not. Well, now I can hear myself. That's probably a little bit better. Okay, so I want to do that. All right. Well, we'll figure that out later. I might have no choice but to just deal with it. Let's go to the charts. By the way, did you miss me? Because I missed you guys. It was a long break. The chart. So here we are on the E-mini, moving quite a bit higher today. I mean, over the holiday break, we kind of had this big down move before the holiday break and then recovery from that. But then, once things kind of thinned out after Christmas, they had no problem moving up. And now here in January, a pretty solid move higher. There is no real news driver or anything of that nature to be driving the move. But the big thing that I'll point out, and I usually show you guys this one last, but the dollar index taking a pretty decent plunge overnight here. And I mean, it's just been going down anyways, but overnight, a fairly significant drop in the dollar. So that seems to be the one thing I can point to that makes sense as to why we're moving up in the E-mini. Now, in treasuries, they've been pretty flat. I mean, look at that. They've just been going nowhere. We did have a little bit of a spike here, but that was just kind of bringing them back into break even. I am keeping an eye out, though, in case these decide to go down. So I'm really concerned about this scenario where the Democrats win Georgia and the treasuries decide that means that they won't be fiscally responsible. So I'm really watching that one. Gold, a really big move. They're still not above 2,000, but actually 2,000 is where they've never really got past. 1965, huh? Well, yeah. Gold moving pretty strongly, though. That just tells you what we're seeing in the currencies, right? Copper also seeing a big move today. And oil started out pretty good, but came back really hard. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, but I'm sure that there's a lot of oil news all the time. There's a lot of news in oil, I have come to realize. So yes, that's where we're at. Come back over to here. Also, Bitcoin. So over the weekend, Bitcoin saw an insane move, and I really mean insane. So we were closing before Christmas at 2330. And over the holiday, they rose all the way up to 3,500. And now today, coming back 10%. Well, that's not surprising. You can't have a move like that and not have some sort of a pullback. You kind of have to wonder, though, if that's just another part of the manipulation. Like, they still haven't gotten the retail rush that they want. They still haven't gotten the retail rush, so. Live action. I was thinking the same. If Dems win equals high tax, bad for companies, and risk off. Yeah, exactly. Now, can you imagine, though, like... So let's think, just for a moment, let's just reiterate that it seems that the biggest macro trend, clear thing that we're seeing this morning, and that we've frankly been seeing for quite some time, is dollar weakness. The whole market is basically premised on dollar weakness right now. Fair enough. What happens if Democrats come in and they raise taxes, for instance, or they add more programs. You know what I mean? So if they raise taxes, that's going to undo all of the, well, especially if they do anything about corporate taxes. Although I'm kind of thinking that it wouldn't be a corporate tax. I think that they would like only increase taxes on rich people and leave the corporate tax change alone. But could be wrong. So they raise taxes. Maybe they create more spending programs, etc. Well, if you raise taxes overall, that means less dollars in circulation. Dollars should start to rise again. Yeah. So then this whole thing just unwinds, right? Increase income tax flows by mandating higher minimum wages. Oh, yeah. So Uzi is saying here that they're going to increase the minimum wage. That would create inflation. That might actually hurt the dollar. We should go back and find the last time they increased the minimum wage. That's the magic ingredient when people never consider when it comes to minimum wages. I see what I think I get what you're getting at here, Uzi. That it's actually to the politicians' benefit to raise minimum wages on everybody because it increases inflation and gives them more money to work with. You pay a higher dollar amount in taxes, income taxes on $15 an hour than you do on $8.50. Oh, that's such an interesting point I've never considered before. Hey, Lobo, how are you? Looks like we got, there's Vlad. He's alive. I am alive. I took a break over the holidays. It was hard to like, I was sitting there like, man, I haven't streamed in days. Like, it's tough. And I spent that whole week doing like videos and stuff in the morning, which surprisingly, I only made 2 videos. And one of them was the one that I put out yesterday, but it took a lot of work to make those. That's why politicians advocate for higher minimum wages. It's a way to tax businesses without directly hitting them, sure. So let's do some research here. Let's go and look back. Okay, so the first thing, well, I'll open up TradingView here. TradingView. Last minimum wage increase in US. The federal minimum wage was last raised on the 24th of July, 2009. The last step. Oh, okay. So that I was thinking, I was like, no, there's no way that because there was the whole thing was that they didn't want to increase it after the 2008 crisis. But the increase was approved by Congress in 2007. Before 2007, the minimum wage had been stuck at $5.15 per hour for 10 years. Because guess what? Those of us with several employees we match income taxes of our employees. Yeah. Okay. But when was the exact day? 2017. Oh, look at that. Wait, sorry, what was it again? It wasn't 2017, it was 2007. Oh, look, there's a government agency that has it. The 2007 amendments increased the minimum wage to $5.85 per hour effective the 24th of July. Okay. Oh, sure. Floor, no matter what story of the building it's on. Well, that's a really broad question. Does anybody know how to code AI software? I know how to code pretty much anything that you want, but you have to know what you want to write. Okay, so we want to look at July 24th, 2007. Oh, yes, I already have the dollar index on here. Okay, well, interesting. So here in July, didn't really move all that much back then. What do you think? And then the 2008 crisis happened. Like, this is the thing that's so crazy about the dollar. Everybody's concerned about dollar depreciation. Okay, like here's where we were in the 2008 crisis. This was when it was like, oh my gosh, this is such a crazy move up in the dollar, and wow. And then, I mean, look at it since then. It's only gone up, and especially in 2015. Man, the dollar really rose. Sorry, 2014 really rose in 2014. And people are concerned because it's coming back down. I just yeah, you have to be way, you're gonna have to. So here's the thing, Yesini. It's not as simple as, okay, I want to make an AI that trades, and then there's an AI that's there and it works. You have to come up with a strategy, and there are all sorts of different sorts of things. And for instance, you can like create a neural network, but even if you're creating a neural network, you have to have some idea of what it's going to be trying to take advantage of and stuff, and some underlying theory. So if you want to go down that road, you've got a ton of things to learn first. And I would recommend getting some books and reading some scholarly articles about these things, because you're missing so many steps between here and there to get to where you want to go. Okay, well, so it's interesting to me that the minimum wage increase in 2007 doesn't seem to change anything. Do we need to go back further than that? What was it before that? 1996? I mean, can I go back that far? Oh, I can. And that raised the dollar. Well, it seems to me that the underlying economy matters more than minimum wage increases, for sure, right? How can you program a bot to be profitable if you can't even be profitable yourself? Well, I wouldn't agree with that one. Oh, which reminds me, I got some robots that we need to turn on here. Actually, was going to add some. Wait, what? Oh, they're not in there because I had to rebuild the workspace. Okay. Well, dang. Okay. This is going to take me a bit. Let's see here. We want Brandon. It's a 5-second. Set trading hours. And take replay. There we go. And then we want Travis. Jeez. That's no good. I don't have all of the properties set right on them. So basically it's impossible. No, like what I'm saying is, man, what would be a good allegory? What you're asking is like, how do you build a house when you don't even know how to nail in a board, right? If you want to build a house, you have to know all of the things about working with the various materials. You have to know all of the things about planning for a house and procuring the materials and getting the labor for it. And this is a complicated thing that people make their entire living off of. And it's the same with robots. There are people out there that make much more sophisticated systems than myself that is all they do. And they have large groups, entire development groups dedicated just towards building some of these systems. And to come in and say, well, so how do you make one? Is like, okay, there are so many things that you need to look at first before you can even think about making a system like what you're talking about. What is my real name? It's Seth. Okay. All right. So what were we testing Travis on? I can't even remember what I called it now. No, it wasn't that one. That was that one. 50 and 10. Let's just go into the Ninja script and set those. Travis. Why is my stop and everything like huge? That should be 16. 1. I understand your point, Seth. I thought I could reach out to a coder that he'll write the code and voila. No. Yeah, you're talking about something really sophisticated. Do you then Ninja Trading Live account actually a sim? I can prove it. I have been trading sim for the last 2 months, I think. So, I don't know, secret. I like here's what I tell you. Just assume that I'm trading sim, and I try and hide it when I'm trading it live. But the regulars can usually tell. Okay. Oh wait, I tested it on 1 minute bars? Okay. Okay. And then who else do we got here? Reginald? Reginald was the one that that we had the most hopes for. Let's just double check here what we got. There he is. Yep, he's on a 1 minute. Okay. I only need 1 day to load there. Yeah. Okay. In fact, all of these I should really change them to be only one load 1 day of historical data. You don't need any more than that for these strategies. Okay, and then last one is Sean. Now Sean was a 5-second strategy. Replay. Choose the right trading hours. Okay. All right, so that's the ones that we had before. Now we need to add the 3 new ones. So I got 3 new ones. What were they? Inventory bars, that's right. I think that these were 1 minutes, but I'm not sure. Let me double check here. Yep, 1 minute. Okay. I know that you guys, oh, Anthony, how are you? I'm looking over here, I'm like, I'm not even paying attention. New Blackboard, or has that always been there? No, that's only been here for the last month or so. Made a video with it. I'm planning on making some more videos. I really wish that you could see what was on it and so that we could use it for that, but you have to kind of, I mean, like I can, well, I'm not going to do it. I can make that sharp and then I'm blurry and then you can see what's written on it, but thank you very much. It's a very generous donation. This move, he's coming in because, the Bitcoin's doing the crazy stuff. This move over the holiday was nuts, right? I'm kind of wondering if, I mean, this pullback, it's like a 10% pullback already. Here's the thing. I think what's going on in Bitcoin is like a really great example of reflexivity. Is what, as George Soros would call it, right? There, the price moves up, that gets more people interested in it, and so more people go out and buy it. But there's some underlying assumptions about what they're doing, and the reasons that they're buying it that are just dead wrong. They believe that it's a dollar hedge because central banks are printing too much money, but as far as I can tell, the reason that Bitcoin is so high is because of Tether. That Tether has been printing massive amounts of money, and I don't believe that all of that money is backed. So they're leaving fiat currencies so that they can just go and buy something that has the exact same problem, if not worse. You know what I mean? So if we're going back to the theory of reflexivity, at some point there comes a point where that self-reinforcing cycle flips on itself. And the question is just, what does it take for that to happen? Does a 10% pullback do it? I don't think it does. It can. It could. But it doesn't necessarily have to. Right? The most important is to believe, Seth. There I wouldn't be surprised if they made another run. It's usually something where like they'll have a good run and they come short a little bit, that people tend to like, things really fall apart for them. So cryptos are trading vehicles only. Irrational exuberance is what's driving price. Well, again, DeFi staking changed the rules. I haven't looked a whole lot about DeFi, so I'll look that up today. From what I can tell in Bitcoin in particular, they are seeing a supply squeeze. So essentially, there are some people coming in, they really want to buy it. There is hardly any people selling it. These large, one of the things that's kind of funny is that like when I read Zero Hedge, they're like, oh, all of these large institutions, they're buying it and then moving it over into cold storage. And my model doesn't show that. The model still says that there's just not that much activity on the blockchain and that they're not moving it, that it's mostly just staying on the exchange. But there does appear to be some sort of squeeze. But the issue with that is it's like it's like a corner on the market. It's like somebody has a corner on the market. That doesn't end well. Buying into that usually doesn't end well. You're short at 37.62. Okay. So anyways, here's a couple of other things that I've learned about Bitcoin. First is that for the Tether court case, the next big date for the Tether court case is January 15th. So their last time around, they didn't have the documents, and the New York Attorney General requested that they be given an extension. And the reason that they did that was to keep these rules that was like supposed to prevent them from printing more Tether and things like of that nature. But it seems to me that they haven't been following that. So the January 15th comes along, Tether doesn't have the documents, and then what happens? I don't know if at that point that it's like it's over per se. Maybe there's some sort of other delay tactic that they do at that point. It could also be that at that point they pass it off to like the SEC or one of those guys. So I'm not 100% sure what the impact of it is, but one thing that I would say is that I would expect there to be some people taking profits ahead of that day. January 15th. Okay, so remember that one. The other one is, I think it's in March sometime, that the Ethereum futures are going to go live. And I really think this latest move was really more to do with Ethereum. They're the ones doing interesting things where they've moved over to Ethereum 2.0, although interestingly enough, I haven't heard hardly anything about that at all. And then they're going to have CME futures for Ethereum. It's going to be so much fun January 15th. Well, some people, the anti-Bitcoin guys are saying that like on the 15th, that is just going to be. But I will tell you, so it's coming. There's going to be another one of those 50 to 80% declines. And this time around, it's going to be particularly ugly just because of the way that it all kind of turned out and everything. Okay. Sean, Reginald, Travis, Brandon. Oh, okay. And then the next one that I think we want is the squeeze. Yes. Okay. Now was squeeze not that far down? I should probably add slip too, just for the fun of it. Maybe it's not showing up on this list. Yeah, it's not showing up on this list for some reason. Okay, that's okay. So there was squeeze, and then the other one was Fourier, yeah. 5, 10, 10, 10, 15. Okay. New strategy. Fourier. Oh, geez. So don't know what this FT threshold was. Loss limits. Oh, 0. It should be 0. Okay. Yeah, and this one doesn't need tick replay, so that's good. I didn't turn tick replay on this one, did I? Okay, good. But these 5 need it. 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I thought I had 8. No. It's 7. Should have 7. Okay. Now I can enable them all. Oh, now that's interesting. Squeeze strat would have actually have taken one long? Okay, so now back to you guys. I'm sorry. Wall Street needs C badly to recuperate all these BTC they missed. They could FUD and woohoo. Yeah. Well, thank you again for another donation, dude. It's been, I know, all I have to say is that like a 50%. It's like literally like we're 23 and we're to 34. So a 50% rise over basically the holidays, like when it's dead trading. It's a little sketch, don't you think? It's a little sketch. So yeah. Okay, so I think we can close this and we can save this workspace. We'll see. Oh, it looks like the Fourier took one too. Now, as for myself, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to need to, okay, hold up. Is there a way to change it so that the when you take the trading bit out, maybe I need the maybe I need to bring over the chart trader on the side here, and if I bring that and do the properties of that, auto scale, there we go. No, that doesn't do it. There we go. Okay. Now I can actually see Ace BNPR 007. That's a new name. I'm sorry that I don't have the Texas speech working today. That's really frustrating. So this is going to be, I might be a little hard for me to catch all of your comments. So I apologize if I'm slow. Oh, okay, Vlad, you're right. The Ethereum launches February 8th. I said March, didn't I? Okay. And I will take this spot right here. Oh. Let's imagine Wall Street bought 51% of all the mined Bitcoin. I bet you they will be very tempted to extend the Bitcoin market cap. Not quite sure what you're getting at there. Man, I'm still thinking about the conversation that, to be honest, I'm still thinking about the conversation that we were having with Uzi. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so minimum wage increase doesn't really change the dollar too much, but if they raise taxes on everybody, that seems to have an impact on the market overall as a whole, and then that would probably cause the dollar to rise. And then all of these correlations that we're getting right now with all of these different things, particularly Bitcoin, would just get slaughtered. And it wouldn't take much. Reuters trying to scare BABA holders by saying Jack Ma is missing from public view. That's I don't think that's just FUD. Let's talk about that one. Because I saw a story about that on Zero Hedge. Carl Icahn dumped 600 million in the Herbalife thing. That's interesting. So here's where I'm like, so I'll tell you what. Zero Hedge. Sometimes Zero Hedge has really great stuff. By the way, I've been trying their subscription service. I don't think I'm going to extend it because when you come over here and you go to premium, you don't really get anything all that different. Like there's this stuff that you get from the Marketeer, but they post that shit on Twitter, and you don't get different stories up here. So I'm going to say it's not worth it. Anyways, you can tell they totally pump it. And it's like these guys like place stories on Zero Hedge. It's like, I'm going to bet you that you could make a correlation between the number of stories on Zero Hedge about Bitcoin and peaks. And you can tell. So here's the thing. We've had a 10% decline and then we've retraced about 50% of that. And they made a story just for that, saying, oh no, guys, it's okay. That's not all just going to come fall apart. So just kind of put that one in the back of your mind, huh? Just think about that one. Hey, Lucas, there you are. There was somebody else in here earlier with the name Lucas, and I was like, there can only be one Lucas, and the older one is we keep the older one. Okay. Jack Ma, where is it? Okay. About 14 months ago, during an interview with Real Vision, investor Kyle Bass, who has been one of the most prominent American critics of the Chinese Communist Party, while also anticipating the political troubles in Hong Kong that inspired the protest movement of 2019, predicted that retiring Alibaba chairman Jack Ma would be disappeared by Beijing within a year. The gist of Bass's argument was that Ma had outlived his usefulness and that Beijing would never tolerate a billionaire with so much power and influence both at home and in the West. As it turns out, Bass was off by about 1 month because the following some rumblings published by the Financial Times on New Year's Eve, it appears that the Western press has just woken up to the fact that nobody has seen Jack Ma in 2 months. Last night in New York, Yahoo Finance reported that Jack Ma is officially missing. Financial Times reported a few days ago that Ma had been abruptly replaced by an Alibaba executive for the tapping of the finale of his show, Africa Business Heroes. Mr. Ma was replaced as a judge in the final of Africa's Business Heroes, a television contest for budding entrepreneurs. His photograph was removed from the judging webpage, and he was conspicuously left out of a promotional video. So here's the thing that I find telling about this. Who was it that was saying this? They were saying he became too arrogant. We're talking. Oh, it was Vlad. Vlad trying to scare Alibaba holders, saying Jack Ma is missing from public. So here's the thing. They published rumblings, like quote unquote rumblings, by the Financial Times on New Year's Eve. It is now January 4th, guys. This is something that, if you're Jack Ma and you read that in the Financial Times and you go, oh no, it's fine. Or even if you were China and you were trying to, pull a fast one on people. You go, oh, no, like, don't worry, everything's fine. Here he is. You make an appearance of some sort. You do an interview, and then it's all done, right? January 4th. It's been 4 days since that happened. So, I think he's gone. Maybe you think that he's actually dead, or do you think that he's just in a prison somewhere? That's what I want to know. By whom? By the Chinese government. Do you think that the Chinese government would just kill him, or do you think that they would disappear him? And like the thing that's scary about it is it's kind of brazen, don't you think? We can get rid of anybody, even the most famous Chinese person in the world. By the way, since I haven't been paying attention, in large part because I was setting up all the algorithms and stuff, over the past, I want to say 10 minutes, we've had a pretty significant decline in the treasuries. Hard to say. He did not want to join the CCP. That is why. By the way, I hadn't heard Ace take another trade. I would have assumed that he would have gotten out and have gone long by this point, yeah? Maybe Jack Ma whacks Satoshi Nakamoto. Oh, you're still short. That's curious. Holding on to that way longer than you normally would. But, you know, I guess it's okay, because we did have, well, so there was a bounce and then a comeback over on it. So I guess you could still be short. Now, the one thing that you do get if you're a premium member is you can see the comments, which doesn't really matter much to me. Hopefully he's on a private island somewhere. Some of the commenters here are just crazy. You can see comments in free mode too. If you're logged in, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seems to me that if you get that premium, that's worth something. But the one that I've got is no. I don't think that it's that you can't read comments. It's I think it's more than that. I think that if you're not a member, you can see comments, but it's moderated. They'll moderate some comments to only be visible to premium members, the ones that Google doesn't like. Like, yeah, because that was the whole reason for them creating it, according to them. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of racists and stuff on Zero Hedge. Yeah, there is. There's a lot of crazy people on there, for sure. For sure. Okay, well, the E-mini came back there pretty quick, but now falling back down again. Although, when I'm looking at the tape there, it's not doing it on a lot of volume. You should note that the cumulative delta overall is down, though. Anyways, I tried a membership with them for a month, and I don't think it's worth it. I thought that it was going to be like, oh yeah, I'll be able to visit them every day, and there will be this content that I wasn't getting before, and no. Maybe if you get the really expensive subscription, where they give you all of the Wall Street reports and stuff, but... Now, I think part of that is that because it's been the holidays, we haven't gotten a whole lot of macro market kind of analysis stuff. Man, those treasuries are just pushing. So now there's some big orders showing up at 28. Oh, by the way, we need to... There we go. So now I kind of need to come out on the volume profile and ask, okay, is that significant? Okay, so the overnight low was 26.5. So if they push below that, But even if they pushed below that, there's like 24 and 21 half and 20 from previous days. So, but orders are just potatoing down. Well, look at the absorption on some of the like 28 and 27 half. Curious though that as this has been happening, that the E-mini has been a little bit cautious about it. This one right here, I'm gonna try. This is another trade that we kind of forgotten about that I will take. That one ticker. There's a win. Did you gentlemen who trade receive your stimulus? Yeah, I got the stimulus check. Man, you know what's crazy? The crazy thing about the stimulus check. So we know there's definitely a large number of people taking their stimulus checks and just putting it into the market, which I guess is a good thing, but it's also a little bit concerning that, like, we're creating a bubble for sure, right? And now politicians are already talking about another one. Like Biden wants another one. Like they want another stimulus. Like, I don't know, man. It was hard to get this stimulus. There is no way you are going to get another stimulus without some significant, and I mean significant, economic trouble. You know what I mean? Eagle Eyes, damn Jack really is really missing you. That is very dangerous news. Well, I'm not sure why you would use the word dangerous, but I find it disturbing, yeah. Economic trouble is the plan, need more dependence? I guess. How much did you get? Too much. I was reading a tweet the other day about the tech bubble. Turns out everyone knew there was a tech bubble back then, same way everyone feels about Bitcoin today. Yeah. I mean you're right. Like it wasn't 3K, but it was too much. Because I've got dependents. I don't get all of the dependents though. So the thing that's crazy about this, and I'll have to do my taxes here in a week or two, and we'll find out for sure. But my understanding is that because I didn't claim my wife is divorced, and they switch off one of the dependents every year. So last year we took one dependent, and this year we'll take two dependents. My understanding is that if you get the two dependents in the stimulus check, that you're fine and you get to keep it. But that if you are going to claim more dependents on this year's taxes than last year's taxes, and that would have led to you getting more stimulus money, that you will get that stimulus money back in your tax return. I should have waited on this one. I should have waited. They took 27.5 offer. I should have waited 27.5 go bid again, and then I should have placed it. Anyways, like the thing is that I've got enough of the for my stock portfolio, because the thing was I wanted to have enough to be able to put 5 solid companies together. And I've done that. I mean, I've made enough on the gains that I have taken, and I haven't fully invested, but I've made more than enough on that I'm to that point. So although I could continue putting it in the market, I would honestly prefer to see this supposed economic chaos that we need another stimulus. This is the thing is, like, do these politicians actually think this through? Or are they literally just getting to the point of, oh, my constituents, they love stimulus, let's just keep doing this? I think that it might be the case that they're just, you know, they're just doing it because their constituents like it. Because did you see this thing? Oh man, this one was one of the most interesting stories that I had read today, or over the holiday break. Was that who was it? Was it Timothy Geithner? I think it was. It was one of the big. It was like the Treasury Secretary under Obama was saying, you know, we don't actually need another stimulus. And then he went and he made an argument about that it wasn't needed. He came out and he said, look, the amount of money that is out there, there's more money out there to buy things than there was before the pandemic. So you're beyond just providing financial support at this point. You are actively juicing the economy. And I found that to be a convincing argument. I haven't done the math, and I'm sure that it's probably a lot more complicated than that. But I am of the opinion at this point that another stimulus is not really necessary, and that it is literally just creating bubbles. BTC futures on Thinkorswim says 80K margin if you shorted near the top and covered near 5 a.m. bottom. 140K move, not bad for overnight stuff into flush. Yeah. I tell you what, man, if I could afford to go and buy CME future puts, I would be doing it. If I could get puts that expire on what would be the third week in January this month, 22 on the 22nd. So if I get puts that expire on the 22nd and I got a reasonable price on it, I would 100% do it. I would be willing. You guys search for me, because I've looked and I can't find it. But if there's a place where I can get puts without having to get into Bitcoin itself, right? Because usually the way this works is you have to buy Bitcoin first, and then you can use that as the margin for this. I want to do it in dollars. So if you can find me a way that I can buy puts, $500 worth of puts in Bitcoin with dollars, I will do it. Ones that expire on January 22nd. Because my model is straight up saying that a 50 to 80% decline is coming. And I've done this now. This is the third or fourth time that we've made this, that the model has made this prediction, and it has not failed us yet. Oh, now I'm going back. I'm so I'm all over the place, aren't I? So Lucas was saying apparently people knew during the tech bubble. Here's the thing that I'm starting to realize. It's easy to tell when something is overvalued, but it is very difficult to make money off of that. It is difficult to realize that something is undervalued, but it is very easy to make money off of that. Do you see what I mean? It's like when it's overvalued, that's the thing everybody's talking about, and it's so obvious that it's just hype and that it's not going to last. But you're fighting momentum, and it's, by the time it happens, it's, you know, there's all sorts of difficulties with shorting things. But when something is undervalued, nobody's talking about it, nobody notices it, nobody thinks about it. So it's really hard to know. And not only that, but it's often there's something going down and there was a good reason for it to be going down. So there's no way to know. But if you buy it, it's so easy to make money because it's easy to buy, and it's like that's the trade that you get that just goes up and up and up forever. Well, I did get the 27.5 to go bid again, but they didn't haven't get anybody hit into 27.5, so that one did not work. Let's see here. So some of them robots. Okay, so the 4-year strat took a loss on that one. Oh, that was the only one that took it live. These other two, one took long and one took short. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. And Ace did get the money on the short. Well, I don't know if I should have been in this long here, huh? I mean, that one was kind of just like, well, all of these things say long, and I think that it's pretty quiet here, so I'll take it. But you know, when you look at the trend and everything, it's pretty clearly down. Especially when you look at cumulative deltas. So, especially with the cumulative delta, that should have been a reason to not go long. Oh, we got a minute to the open, though. It's okay. So let's just note here that it was 27.5. And when they took the 27, by the way, they just swept it. So somebody's definitely coming out. The other thing is with the treasuries selling, that is unusual. There's usually the tendency at the end of the month and beginning of the month in treasuries, and especially at the beginning of the year, is for them to buy. Like, that's when people are trying to pick up inventory. But I think what must be happening is that these guys are really concerned. Okay, so there's the open. First impulse is long. Clearly long. Where's the short going to come in? Okay, there it is. Are you going to go to 37.55 here? That's kind of what it looks like. Well, there's a little spot right here. I don't know if that one's going to hold, though. Okay, so let's see here. Travis went short. The inventory went short. Oh, the inventory went short and got a pretty good trade there, I think. This move in the treasuries is something significant is going on over there. Now, the E-mini is going down here and all, but I'm not seeing the dollar switch, and we're not seeing buying coming into the treasuries. It's kind of hard for everything to be all at the same time sell all the things, right? Okay. So there's the overnight selling position. Now in the money, if they're going to go and stop them out, that would be 37.44. This could just be a gap fill, right? Like they might maybe to 37.28 if they were going to fill the gap. What's going on here? Oh, it went short again. Oh, now that's interesting. So that one right there we should probably modify our robot to find that situation and extend its target when it finds that instead of taking 2 trades. Now on the split side, it does appear that they are basing out a little bit here, but we're going to take it long. I think that I should wait. Mark Cabana says there's going to be a train wreck at the front of the treasury curve next year. There is way too much cash chasing too little paper. That doesn't make sense to me. Because they're not buying it. They're selling it. By the way, reloading at 26.5. Look at that. Usually in this area we can get a tick on our reload, but you could try it right there like that. Okay, there's the E-mini going again. Well, I'd say that this is pretty strong action, but what I see in the E-mini doesn't necessarily look like panic to me yet, even though it is a very strong move. Okay, well, the treasury ticked up there. So maybe we're starting to see some flight to safety in the treasury. He's got the 10 points. Well, the thing that surprised me about that one was that while you were in, it gave a couple of long signals, didn't it? Well, I don't know if it was actually a true long signal in any of those, but... Okay, another one's taking a short. Oh, it's getting its target again. Okay, so I can see some potential buying coming in here, but then they just get drowned so quickly. Whew. Well, I'm not so sure about this one because normally I would be like, oh yeah, like let's just buy this. I'll try it, but normally I would be like that, but because there was such a big gap overnight, I'm not sure if they're gonna try and fill that gap or not. It's a pretty wide gap. I mean, they would really have to sell to get that. Ugly. No. For them to fill the ES gap, depending on what kind of qualifiers you use, but if we're going to go to the previous day's high, that would be 37.29 and a quarter. So here's one. Paul Krugman saying people who are shocked by how many Republicans are supporting Trump's bid to overturn the election haven't been paying attention. The party has been heading this way for a long time from the introduction of the tip. Okay. So number one, they aren't trying to overturn the results of the election. They believe that the results were fraudulent, which wouldn't be overturning the results of the election, but claiming that because they believe that they actually won. So that's the first thing. Second of all, you're talking about like maybe half of the Republicans in the Senate or in the House of Representatives. It's not enough to do anything. Like you realize, as big of a deal as the media is making this whole thing out to be on the 6th, and you can tell that Donald Trump is totally bought into it, right? That's why he wanted everybody to be there in the TC and all that stuff. Well, nothing's going to happen. You would need like all of the Republicans to be in on this for anything to happen. Just remember in September they flushed it too after August, so don't be buying the dip with the martingale. Well, I'm thinking, why did I take this particular one? It wasn't bad. No, ES Friday high was that from December 31st, the high was 37.29. Well, it wasn't. That's not Friday's high. Did they not trade on Friday? Oh yeah, they don't trade on Friday. Yeah, it was Thursday. Thursday's high was 37.29 and a quarter. And a quarter. Yeah, okay, that one definitely didn't work, but I'm a bit frustrated by this one in the Treasury too not filling me, but that's okay. Wow, I tell you what, my robots are doing pretty good today. That doesn't surprise me because in backtesting, they tended to work better on shorts than on longs. Tiger King lawyers to have a high-level meeting in DC for pardon plea? What? He wants a pardon. I don't think he should get a pardon. Thursday high looks like 37:53 late in the afternoon. No, I don't. Let me show you my chart. Here's my chart. 30-minute. It was the Thursday was what is the word? It was a shortened trading day, and it says the highest it got was 37.29. Did I miss something? Let's try reloading all historical data. I have strategies running on it, though. No, wait. Oh, yeah, because they're running on ES. I'm just going to have to leave it alone. Here, let's... I guess I can try trading view. It might be one of those things where, you know, my own data got corrupted because of things that I did. That certainly happens from time to time. Okay. Oh, I do see, like, at the close, they reached 37.55. Okay. So maybe they've retraced it now. Oh, we're getting a PMI number here, by the way. Well, I'm just thinking if this is... I'm just thinking here, if the e-money was just kind of like a temporary thing and it's going to recover, then what will the Treasury respond with? Well, on this one, I think that I can go for a little bit higher because I would like to see at least 52. Yeah, that's right, 52. Oh, I need to come back over here, huh? For exits, I exit too early on 80% of my scalps? Well, then the question is, what's your exit signal? There is none. Oh, you know what? I know what's wrong with my audio. I switched it over so that I could play a game, and it should really be this this thing right here. There we go. So now if I no. Oh wait, that might be working. Maybe I've got the wrong one.
Ace Trades says nothing wrong with your audio.
No, there is. I screwed my audio up. Should be this one right here.
Ace Trades says nothing wrong with your audio except no baby sounds.
Cool. Usually scalps should be timed base. I'll do a study on that for you. What should we use? The thing is that if you take a trade and then you say, okay, I'm only going to be in it for 5 minutes, there are going to be some that you're going to cut short, right? So you're going to be a certain number that are longs that would have gone much further, and you cut them short. I'm getting like sweaty in here. I've been a little bit sick this past day or so. Was having like chills. You got long. You might have gotten a better price than me then. Oh, geez. Really? Prime Minister is addressing the nation at 8 tonight. Parliamentary called Wednesday tough national lockdown to be announced. Okay. You should eat some ribs. They'll do you good. What is it? I cooked a pork butt yesterday. It was pretty good. Well, that one I was about to say I'm gonna get out of this, but look, it's already too late. It's already too late. Geopolitical dick measuring based on who has the toughest and effective lockdown scary times. No, listen, he does this guy. Sorry, what is his name? The Prime Minister of England doesn't want to do lockdowns. Okay, they are terrified of this new strain of the virus. Johnson, sorry. Yeah, and because they're on like a socialized healthcare plan, there's some like real problems if something happens. You know what I mean? Okay, well, my robots held on and made money off of it. Although the Fourier not doing so hot today. I'm kind of wondering about that one. Came a little bit short of my target there. Well, I won't want to call that my target, but my limit order. Big Toasty, good morning. There's so many people coming in today saying hi. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Yeah, anyways, remember that the issue with a socialized healthcare system is that there is less supply. There's less overall care. It's harder to get doctors and all of those sorts of things. So if you are a socialized healthcare nation and you're dealing with a virus that has an incredibly high transmission rate and a 10% hospitalization rate, that's like a really big problem for your government, right? Over in the UK, they may also be influenced by some additional experts that are, because it was the UK study that came out and said this is how many people will die without it. That was, frankly, was wrong. When CNBC says stocks extend rally looks great, I'll have doubts to hold anything too long into that day. Good news pump. Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing. No dollar rise. No rise in the dollar as of yet. Definitely came in on the treasuries, and the treasuries bounced hard. Treasuries are just so frustrating sometimes, guys. You know that they have no, but Johnson is much more like Donald Trump in that respect, in that he's concerned that coronavirus is going to hurt his party. Big Toasty says I connected to YouTube channel with Discord, but you can't access. Oh, really? Hold on. Maybe they will film me. I don't know. Yeah, this one's gonna be interesting. Either way. Does look like they're getting a harder bounce this time around, but that big downturn was definitely not the same. So Big Toasty, I don't. Did you sign up for the elite membership? I'm just looking at the members, and I don't see your YouTube name on the list of members unless you signed up with a different YouTube member. How can I do that? So to get to the private channels and to do the indicator subscription, you have to click the join button at the bottom of the video and sign up for the $10 a month subscription. Sorry, maybe I didn't make that as clear as I needed to in that video. Ace can't figure out Discord. I don't think he's at. Have you actually tried since we've talked about it? Well, they've been chilling in that area for a while. There was a big iceberg there of some sort. It makes me feel so stupid trying to verify email with the forgotten password. Suppose you can always make a new account. So is the Treasury going to retrace this entire down move that they had? And if so, what was the reason for the down move? Well, it's not the first time that we've seen something like that in treasuries, but every time that it happens, I'm always super confused. Okay, so I'm looking at this Fourier strat, and I'm thinking it's no good. I do have it set to only enter longs. But it's just taken way more trades than I expected. It does have loss limits set on it, and it hasn't reached its loss limit today yet. The reason for the down move is that no. In the 10-year treasury, why we've been like flat 4 days, and there was a significant decline. Okay, so here's the construction spending numbers, spot 9 versus an estimated spot 9. They did retrace the whole thing, basically, essentially. I don't know, man. This is super weird. Buy high, sell low, but it wasn't high. It's not just that. It was a very aggressive move. Like, they were selling a lot of contracts. They sold a lot of contracts there in the 10-year, and they sold some like 9Ks up in there. Even now with this recovery, they're still, even though they retraced completely in price, they only retraced about 50% of the cumulative delta in there. Like, it was a serious move on seemingly nothing, and then the panic came in, and so I assume that this rise back up is because of panic in the E-mini. But then you have to wonder, why is the E-mini really panicking? Well, one potential reason that we're moving down as hard as we are is because the UK is going to go into a stricter lockdown. We moved down a little bit when the UK announced their initial lockdowns, right? So that one totally makes sense. And I have to say, things don't look so good in Europe right now. Like everybody is extending lockdowns. I don't think that in the UK it's going to help them, because like Uzi was pointing out, the lockdown, like, the thing is that if you don't have a lot of cases and you're a country where you can prevent anybody from coming in and everything else like that, if you do a full lockdown, then it does help, because you can just, stop the spread for 2 weeks, and then that, pretty well hampers it. And I think that here in the US, that when we had that initial rise, that the lockdown did prevent it from getting very big in a number of states where it really delayed, probably to the detriment of because then these other states didn't get the rise until later in the year. Okay, but if you were a place like in New York, for instance, it's kind of have to wonder if the lockdown ever did helped anything, or California, maybe even a better example. California has been probably the most aggressive and most locked down, and they're having like the most cases right now. It's like there's a certain threshold at which once the virus is out there, it's out there, and you just can't do anything about it. And it seems like that these guys don't get that. They're still living this delusion that if we just completely lock everything down, that will crush the virus. But the data just doesn't support that at this point. So why don't I have a filter on the Fourier? Oh, it's going for real winners. Huh. Oh, look at that. Man, my inventory barge strategy has just made bank today. So I'm looking at the Fourier one, and the Fourier one I feel like shouldn't be trying to take anything, but it is. It is taking them here, and I think that we need to run some additional filters on it. Like for this one, probably a longer term moving average might be enough to stop it from doing stupidity like this, because the Fourier strat is going to hit its loss limit almost. And I remember when I was doing the back test, there was a couple of days where it did really poorly, and I was like, well, and I just kind of did some risk management stuff to it so that, you know, if it got so many bad trades in a row, it took it off. But now I'm kind of seeing what's happening with it. I think that we need to modify that one a bit. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna get out here. Whew. Okay, yeah. If I had waited another second and seen what just happened there at the bottom, I still would have gotten out. So I guess that redeems us on our E-mini trades, but didn't I take 3 before that? Well, that was no good. I did have one that went 11 in my favor. That sucks that didn't get me anything. Look at the 10-year. This is a 7K at 30.5 now. Big Toasty, what do you think of range bar charts on backtesting? Are they like Renko bars? No, they're not. So you've got to remember that it's about redrawing the bar, right? So the way that a range bar works is they say, I'm going to have a range of 4 ticks. And when it breaks out of that range of 4 ticks, then it makes a new bar. So it can determine that immediately. So that there's no need for repainting. But when you get into Renko bars in particular, a Renko bar is trying to show the trend. And so it redraws a bar. Is it sits down and it says, okay, here there was a pivot, it came back up a little bit, so I'm going to start drawing it. But then if it immediately turns back down, it goes, oh, whoops, I guess that wasn't really a pivot. And so it erases all of that and continues to show that it was going down, right? And that's why Renko bars aren't back testable. Renko bars are not really, like, here's the thing is that if you're trying to catch trend like that, there are plenty of things that you can do with indicators and so forth to do that. Yeah, I didn't explain that very well, but you get what I mean. What about range bars? No, they're not the same as Renko. A range bar does not redraw. They suck anyway, in my opinion. Here, let me just show it to you guys this way. We'll double check here. Range bar types. Starting to see gold decline now. And the dollar is starting to see some rise. Jeez, are you kidding me? This, oh no, it did let me out. Okay, I was like, are you kidding me? Okay. On data point. Okay. Well, let me show you any Renko bar first. So that's when it adds a bar and final partial bar, update bar. Oh wow, Renko bar type is actually not as long as I thought it would be. I mean, I guess it's 100 lines. It's not like it's simple or anything, but okay, so this one is for the first bar. Approximate compare equals 0. There you go. So do you see right here? There's a certain situation where it says, I will remove the last bar and I will redraw it right here in the Renko bars type, right? Now in the range bars, do you see anything like that? You will add a bar. You'll update the current bar. Non-data point is bars. So bars is the current bar, essentially, right? Then here's where if it's a new one, then we create a new bar. Update current bar. and add bar. But do you ever see where it removes a bar? No. So a range bar, it's not the same as a Renko, where it redraws. In fact, I believe, well, let's go and see. I think that this is a problem unique to Renko bars, but let's go and look at the Heiken SG, because I've heard about issues with Heiken SG too, but I don't know what the problem is. On data point, add bar, date. Huh. It looks like it's okay. By the way, that last, when it came down and there was like stops and then it pulled back and I was like, nah, I don't want in on this anymore. It's gone a little bit lower. I'm still, so when it's short, it's much better when it's just going, when it kind of turns into like a freight train down, that's a lot less common for shorts. Bar, update bar. Well, there's a lot of stuff in there, but I don't see anything that immediately stands out to me as problematic. So maybe let's go to, because shark indicators are the ones with the bar type, with the ones that makes it back testable, right? Bar types. Oh, it's a line break. Yes, that's right. Big Toasty, the closed price and the open aren't correct because it is the average, I think. Man, there's some absorption there at 31. It is just going now, man. Well, when I come back over here at this chart, okay, well, they're coming back into that 29 area now. There's a little bit of an area that I could see them slipping through, and then maybe they could get 24. Oh, it's going short there again. The inventory bars strategy has just made bank on this thing, man. Is that one a short only strategy? I don't remember anymore. Hadn't touched it all weekend, so I didn't touch it over the break, that is. It is. It's a short only. Oh. Oh. Oh, we can make that better. It'll take less trades, but I don't think that it will change the strategy much. Do you consider Soylent and gum to be healthy alternatives? I wish on this page in NinjaTrader where it showed you strategies that it would show you the number of trades taken that day. Well, I can take this long. Okay. Oh yeah, I was looking up Heiken-Ishi stuff, right? Huh. There has to be, there's a special function to add a Heiken-Ishi series. Like there's add data series, and then there's one for adding Heiken-Ishis. That's weird. Average bar. These bars are intended as a way to isolate ongoing trends. Heiken-Ishi bars appear to plot the open, high, low, and close of a price within a specified period, similar to candlestick bars. However, these bars have unique formulas to calculate open, high, low, close values, like candlesticks. Heiken. Oh, I see why there's a problem. Okay. So the solution to a Heiken-Ishi is that just have two data series. Like do your normal data series on have a regular 5-minute open, high, low, close, and then add a Heiken-Ishi one underneath of that, and use the Heiken-Ishi one to determine when you want to get in or out, and use the regular data series to determine what price you get or whatever. This is going to get bloody. I'm wondering, I suppose they could go below 37.15. Let's look at over here. Well, they've basically 37.30 was target 1. Target 2 is 37.03. So if we again assume that the reason we're falling is because of lockdowns in the UK, can we make it to 37.03? I personally don't think that we can. Well, that's further away than I'm able to see, too. Two Democrats send criminal referral to FBI over Trump call. Oh man. So I saw that one and I thought that whole thing was silly. Especially when you read the whole conference call of them making such a big deal out of it. But oops, that's not what I wanted. Yes, that one. Okay. Well, the treasuries are still buying. Have they beaten out now? And deltas? Not quite. They're getting close though. Takes courage to short this bull market. Well, that turned down quickly, didn't it? There was a lot of absorption on that one, though. Don't see any reason to panic. Well, it's been a weird move, hasn't it? I think though the reason I'm going to guess rather that the reason we're seeing the action that we are is because the London traders are really concerned about the lockdowns, but the US traders don't care. Because none of you guys seem like bothered by it. You guys are like, oh man, like the lockdowns, like the next, if that was the case, I'd be expecting to hear some people saying it's all over, the big bear market is coming again, all that. It was no, is anybody saying that? None of us are saying that. You know what I mean? So that might be one explanation for it. But like, if that's the case, that's a good theory. If that's the case, I think the way that we would confirm that that's what's going on would be to see the action change after the London close, right? I'm not a fan of those kind of really toppy-turny moves. Hmm. I was just thinking, did I put this one on the right data series? Don't do that. Don't do that. No. Okay. Okay. Wait, what the fetch? Okay, whatever. Whatever. Well, it was looking really good there for a second, but they're kind of struggling now. Did you take a look at the stochastics? Yeah, so I've done a little bit of testing with stochastics. See if I can find it. Stochastics, yeah. Is it still on that list, maybe? I think I might have had the right idea with this trade over here, but ultimately it was probably too early. Yeah. So I did a test with the stochastics and using a 16 tick stop. It depended on the period that I used, but I was able to get it to give me a 51% profitable and a 1.03 profit factor. Oh, geez, they stopped me out hardcore that time, didn't they? Well, it was worth a try. Jeez. Okay. And it's going to go short again. That's the highest negative tick of the day. By the way, what has Bitcoin been doing during all this? It hasn't really done anything all that interesting since we first looked at it. Well, now that we're into the 25 area, so that means that we crossed, oh, not quite. It's really more to like 20. There's kind of like this going back to last Tuesday rather, there's a little bit of an area. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Given the holiday and everything else, it's kind of difficult for us to really know how far it's going to go. The only really good edge I think I have on how far down we could potentially go would be the VIX targets. And if we are to have a really solid down day, that would take us to 3703 or so. Good thing you didn't bet 10k BTC. Well, yeah, I mean, I think I had already said that probably the end of the year thing wasn't going to happen, right? So I'm looking at it now. There might be something in January, but and then there's the Ethereum futures. But if January doesn't kill it, then they're going to wait until after the Ethereum futures go live to do anything crazy, right? Okay. I was still looking. If I can put $500 risk on shorting Bitcoin, I would love to do it. Try the double stochastics? That's not an indicator that comes with NinjaTrader, is it? Oh, it is. Double stochastics. Well, I'll try testing that one. Bitcoin seems like one of those things that'd be fun to dollar cost average in tiny increments. Well, I had gotten the thing that's frustrating about it is that on my model there's like an overbought level and there's an oversold level. We got back to fair value and they bounced off of fair value. Like hard bounced right there at that spot, which I find incredibly interesting. But I would never buy in on this move because I still expected them to go to oversold. At some point, it's going to get there. At some point, it is going to go to oversold, probably. The only way that they don't is something happens and the whole Bitfinex tether case, it just ends. One of the things I have to get over is frustration of getting out too early. Hard not to be mad at all the money I'm not making today, but it goes against my grain to get back in. Yeah. Well, I think that this degree of downside is highly unexpected. Wouldn't you say? Well, it's starting the way that they're just not stopping. Maybe that 3703 is possible. Okay, so these can go. And let's just put one out here for like something crazy happens, but Everyone's selling everything to buy Tesla and crypto. Thanks, Federal Reserve, says Zero Hedge. Here, I'll just leave you, put you guys to auto read here. So I can keep my eyes on this because we do kind of need to keep an eye on it.
Vlad Stolyarov says Fed wants inflation at 2.5%. Sugar Daddy says at ACE trades a good week is what you have.
So what happens if they don't get that degree of inflation? Like, do you get what, like, if there's an inefficiency in the market right now, it's that everything is set up to be short the dollar. Everything is set up to be short the dollar and expecting huge inflation to come in.
Daddy, that is true. Thanks. That puts things in perspective.
Anyways, if there's any inefficiency in the market, it's that everybody is short the dollars and is expecting some sort of significant inflation this year. And if anything was to come in and upset that trade, then it would be really, really ugly. And I'm not saying that that's likely to happen. I'm not saying that that's likely to happen or anything, but the market has underpriced that possibility. The market has underpriced that possibility. I'm not sure why that was auto reading when I unchecked it there for a bit to do that.
Block sell.
Okay, so the Treasury has seen now two fairly significant sells up here.
Big Toasty says, how can you sitting so early in front of the desk?
What do you mean? I don't start my day job for another 45 minutes.
Big Toasty says, when do you start to work?
The Texas speech is being slow here.
Big Toasty because the money is good. Gary Rich says, where is it? DXY, oil, gold, levels I spoke of last year. If those broke, it was time to reevaluate.
I don't remember which levels you talked about. I will say that the gold was doing really great today, and now, well, man. So oil just got pummeled today. Like they were rising pretty good because this morning, remember when we came in, everything was like dollar depreciation, all the things. But oil got crushed. They have since declined over $1. Gold was seeing some negative action, but they've retraced that in spite of the dollar index coming back quite hard here. So the dollar lagged considerably, but the dollar did come up here. Well, this bar is more significant than past ones. In fact, it's enough that I have to get out here. Jeez. Trump turned on GOP Senator Tom Cotton after the Republican senator warned that the GOP effort to oppose certifying Biden's victory would establish unwise precedents and take away the power to choose the president from the people. Well, I think I really FOMO'd into that one. I'm just gonna puke here and wait. Oh man, that fell back down so quickly. Wow. Oh, and it didn't close above. So the reason why I was taking that was because I was like, oh, looks like you're gonna get a pivot here finally. Nope. Guess not. Ah. That was a big down bar. Donald Trump. The surrender caucus within the Republican Party will go down as infamy as weak and ineffective guardians of our nation who are willing to accept the certification of fraudulent presidential numbers. I don't think so, but okay, Don. Donnie's ego is a force to be reckoned with. Well, here's the thing is that one of the things that I think made Donald Trump effective was that he had this ability to like turn around. Like in his first presidential campaign, there was multiple times where he changed who his campaign advisor was, and like he's willing to fire people. Like he's more than willing to look at numbers and say, okay, this isn't good, like let's turn this around. That didn't happen with the coronavirus. What they should have been saying is, oh, our attitude, our messaging on coronavirus is hurting us. He knew it, but he thought that it was just because you guys are making the numbers too high. He refused to accept that it had nothing to do with the numbers and everything to do with what he was saying. You know what I mean? So now we get into this election effort sort of a thing. And it seems to me that in this situation, that ability of his doesn't help him at all because he literally has nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Like he can say all of this stuff, like what he just said there with the surrender caucus. What does he have to lose? Well, I think the reality is that there's a lot to lose because, the Senate race tomorrow is a good example. If the Republicans lose that Senate race, I think that blame is going to be placed squarely on Donald Trump there because that was a winnable race and everything that we saw said that we're going to win that, and now the polling has flipped around. And I totally blame this battle over the election results. I'll totally blame it on that. But see, Donald Trump doesn't see himself as a member of the Republican Party. I don't think he cares what happens to them after he leaves. All he cares about is that he's president or not. You know what I mean? So it's a real problem, I think. I think it's a real problem. Not a real problem in that, like, nothing's going to happen on Thursday. All of these people thinking that there's something's going to happen or like there's going to be a revolution or something, I think is just absolutely crazy. It's not going to happen. But will it hurt the Republican Party? Yeah. It's hurting the Republican Party a lot. Donald Trump going to be the catalyst for a legit one-party state? Well, I think that what happens is this. I'm not 100% sure that the Democrats win the runoffs tomorrow, but I'm certainly concerned about it, okay? So let's just assume that they win it. They win it, Joe Biden becomes president, and at that point, Democrats control both houses of the legislature and the presidency. Maybe they nuke the filibuster, maybe not. I don't think that it necessarily matters. But I think that what you will see is either Republicans just completely tune out. Man, I'm really frustrated that I didn't get anything on my long, and then because I should have just fucking held it. Like, I really got holy shit. All right, it's time to just go crazy here, guys. Anyways, either the Republicans just completely tune out, or they recover. They say, okay, there was some good things about what Donald Trump did, but ultimately there was a lot of problems, and we're over it now. And then they have a pretty tough map for the Senate, but they flip the House in 2022. Republicans need to be taught a lesson. I really don't think that it's going to work that way. There was an attack on U.S. forces in Iraq, and the attack resulted in heavy casualties, quote unquote. Oh, getting some big absorption down there at the bottom again. I am totally rage trading it. You know what? On my discretionary trades over here, I'm not really taking it all too seriously, to be honest with you. For the next few weeks or so, my main focus is on the robots. Now, this one's weird. Shouldn't he not be trading anymore? And what we're getting right now is we're getting really good data, actually. So I kind of didn't expect this 4-year one to be great, but okay, I do have risk management on it, but what did I set it to? he's bad anyways, so we'll just ignore that. Oh. Okay, so we've got to do something about that. Because that did not work correctly. So it is supposed to, well, actually, let's see. Did it print out the thing and stop? Maybe it's just that it was kind of like just short of that and then took one. I'll explain it here in a second here. Where is... Oh, do I not have an output window? Fetch. Well... Holy shit, that's falling like hardcore crazy. It looks like the apocalypse. Well, this is an unusually strong downtrend, that's for sure. Although I can identify on the chart, even as of recently, like, what was the last one? It was December 21st, a Monday. It was a Monday. So the last Monday that we had before Christmas, there was a move that was actually further than this one. And by the end of the day, they had completely recovered it. So, I don't know, man. Now, this news of an attack on U.S. forces in Iraq is interesting. I'm wondering, I mean, I'm seeing all the squawks, do that. And when this downturn really accelerated, that was kind of the headline that I was hearing. I don't see how that outright causes a thing, but anyways. Okay, there was a touch, but not a fill. Good, all right. So that last one was great. Oh, yeah, that's right. I still have another contract. Oops. Oops. Well, shit. Those both should have come out down there. That was dumb. Anyways, I am not super focused today, am I? One of my strategies, it is supposed to stop trading if it reaches a $500 daily loss limit. And I was looking at it and it was 700. So I'm wondering if that happened because it was, it lost like $498 or something like that. And then it went over the threshold, and that's why it was able to be more. And the way that I would be able to tell that is I'd go to the Ninja script output window, and it would show me that, it'll put a message out when it hits that limit. But it didn't do that because I didn't have the Ninja script output window open. So now I can't tell if that actually works when it's on. It works when backtesting, but apparently there's some issues with it when we're running it on sim here. So Gary Rich, that Iraq attack is old news from last. No, this is like I suppose it's possible, but they're saying that there was an attack on an international coalition convoy on Samara Road north of Baghdad, and that there was heavy casualties. I don't know what that means beyond that. Well, they're showing strong. They're doing kind of action that would make a lot of sense since they've touched the fixed target now. That you could actually get a real turn now. A pivot, even. I'm so mad that I didn't put both contracts down there. I forgot that I was short more contracts than I realized. Yeah, and there was comments from Feds Evans. I don't know if the market's really reacting to any of that either, to be honest with you, though. Has Bitcoin moved since this? No, it still looks like it's just like not going anywhere. Ooh, wow. It just, when it turns, it does it so quickly, right? Come on. There we go. All right. Now I'm happy. Made $50 on the discretionary trades, even though it took 4 contracts to do it that time. Germany is discussing. Hold on. Germany is said to be mulling a more strict nationwide lockdown, tweets first squawk. No rate hikes till 2024. How many times to understand why and what floats up? Well, I don't know if that's terribly useful. So here's where I have an issue with that, is that all of those assets have already risen way further than anybody would have expected. More than anybody had expected, I don't know. But there's a lot of discussion about maybe this market is overbought, right? So what are the assets that would float up due to zero rates that haven't already? I'm not sure. I will tell you one thing. The one market that seems to be has not as of yet really taken off. Man, they are just going crazy now beyond my target. This is for real crazy action. And it's going to go short again. Jeez. You realize this robot has made $2,300 today now. All right, I'll show you. Let's go and do the stats on it, shall we? Strategy performance real time. Ah, it did lose one. Oh. It lost 4 times. It took 17 trades. I think that I can make a change here where it will take less trades in order to just let them run more, which will be interesting. Simmeril, and this is just the robot testing it on Sim. This is the first day that I've run this robot. The stats that I got from it were very encouraging, but it was way more effective on the short side. So it only takes shorts. So we would need to see, you know, how good or bad it does on other days. But it certainly gives us something that, like, we've learned something about the way that it moves on a downturn that is incredibly useful, and that even if I don't put this robot live, I think I'm going to have to incorporate into the charts somehow. What I should do is I should make these bars that, like, you know, color differently based on where it closed from the... Because basically what it's saying is that... What it is saying is that the buyers have lost money. How do I say this? When you look at the number of new positions within each bar, the buyers in that bar have lost money on almost every bar today. That is some insane trend. I don't know, Gary. You kind of sound upset to me, Gary. He was saying BTC, gold, oil, commodities, some currencies due to zero Fed rates. Well, yeah. So Bitcoin is over. I'm just telling you straight up, it's overbought, and I want nothing to do with it. Bitcoin, gold, could maybe have some further upside. I don't know how high gold can really get, but obviously would prefer to have been in, you know, $100 or $200 lower. But gold was pretty good, right? It could have some further upside. Commodities overall, that's the one that I find interesting. Oil and commodities overall should theoretically do well in the environment in which people are expecting, but it, as of yet, has not picked up yet. The commodities have been lagging, and I'm seeing a lot of people making calls that commodities are going to do well in 2021, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I just don't understand why they haven't already gone. But this is something that this is why I was really interested in miners, for like rare earth mineral miners. And I'm still really interested in an energy play as well. Although I'm not sure what my energy play is going to be. I wanted to do some research about that over the break, and the 2 videos that I worked on ended up being way more work than I thought. I don't know how to help something more than to make live calls. No, well, here's the thing that's funny, Ace. is that I took your signal at least 2 situations where I took the signal as a long and it ended up being bad. See, there's something to like the ones that you take seem to work and the ones that you don't are the ones that don't work, and I don't get how you do that. Or if it's just luck. You would think that it's just luck, but you do it so consistently. But I watch it. I'm just kind of, like I said, today, at the moment, I'm really want to watch the robots and what they're doing and seeing if there's any changes that need to be made to them. And don't take the signals that go against the grain. Yeah, so in these instances, it was like a 5-minute bar was positive. But apparently I need a bigger filter than that. So here's the thing that's so frustrating. Well, I mean, I can do it with, maybe there's a couple of different things that I can do, but let me just explain this conundrum. Okay. Let's say that you're really big. You're an institution and you want to buy. So it's not today's market. Well, maybe it is today's market. I don't know. But let's just say that you wanted to buy a significant number of S&P 500 contracts, okay? Like in the thousands, okay? An amount that's large enough that you're not just going to put it in there all at once, okay? How would you do that? Well, if you do it, there's really 2 ways that I can think of doing it. One is, depending on how much there actually is in the market, I would, like let's say that I want to buy 1,000. I could probably buy 500 contracts around here pretty easily. So I would maybe just hit into the market with 500 contracts, then wait a little bit and do 250, and then wait a little bit, do 125, and and slowly do it off. And that would minimize my impact on the market. Okay. So that's scenario 1. Scenario 2, let's not even go into scenario 2. In scenario 1, how do we detect that is happening? Because let's just say that it was even larger. There was 10,000 contracts. Okay, so then they're just going to take little bits at a time, right? So in the long run, that's almost certainly going to move price up, right? But they're going to be sneaky about it. They want to do it as slow as possible so that people looking at short time frames can't really see that somebody is absorbing a lot of contracts. Okay, so how do we detect that is happening? Well, one thing that we could look at is we could just look at a longer term chart, or the longer term like deltas, right? Well, I said scenario 2 because I was thinking like 2 scenarios, but then I realized that they were basically the same thing anyways. Okay. But the whole thing here is if they're buying it really slowly, how do I detect that? Okay. And so one thing would have some sort of a longer term filter. Like if I look at the cumulative delta over an hour, or the overall buys versus sells over an hour, I should be able to see that they've been buying it and that it was really, really subtle, but then over time they were buying it. You should be able to see that. But here's the issue with that is that to do that, for me to be able to see that, I have to be looking at like a higher time frame. Like I need to be looking at like a 50-minute moving average, and then I can see it. But then that means that the spot at which maybe I wanted to buy was like 50 minutes ago. It's lagged, right? The issue with indicators. So how do you detect that that thing is happening at the very beginning? And I'm not sure that there is. Like, because the whole thing is designed to not be seen until it's too late. The only way that I know of to know is to outright know what they're going to do anyways before they do it. Right? That would be knowing what the macro context is and what kind of moves they're going to make and trading the news. Right? Hmm. Well, okay. So scenario 2 is this. Scenario 2 is I want to buy a bunch of contracts. I go and I put an iceberg out there, or maybe I just sweep a bunch of prices and I take it all at once, right? So now here in this situation, by the time you can see that anything is going on, I've already taken all of the contracts that I want. So how can you deal with that? Do you see what I mean? The whole idea of that you're going to look at what the major players are doing, and then you can make your own decisions based off of that and just follow in their wake has significant problems, because the way that those traders trade is 100 is the all of their effort is spent into making it so that we can't tell what's actually going on until it's too late. You get what I mean? Zero Hedge says, what's behind today's sudden sell-off? The answer lies in Georgia? Could be. The market can do three things. If you're in a trade, two of them are bad. I don't agree with that, because if the market just goes sideways, that can be bad for you too. Especially if you take a trade, you hit your stop, you take the trade, you do your stuff. Like especially when you're trading like an 8-tick stop, maybe a 16-tick stop. Like, it going sideways is not a good thing, right? I don't get what you're saying. You keep double talking yourself with scenarios you have no control over. But don't you understand? Like, here's the thing is that this scenario, it's not just a scenario. Like, this is what happens. So you come in, the large players are going to make their moves. The decisions that they make are likely going to be the things that move the market that day. So if you want to take advantage of that, then you're looking for an inefficiency in how they take that trade. The issue is that they have found ways to do so that are extremely efficient. So when you go and you read the academic literature about these issues, they call it the most efficient entry whatever's, and there's a lot. So it used to be only buy when we're below the VWAP, for instance, right? That used to be the way that they did it. Since then, they've found even more efficient ways of getting in. So when we're sitting here looking for that kind of a scenario, how do we know, So the point of this was going back to Ace's trade, that it's like, how much is against the grain? Well, the first one that I took, when I took it, it was not so much against the grain. We had one downturn, and that was a spot where often we've seen it rise, and we had 2 bars that were on the upside, and it totally made sense, right? Then there's the further on where it's like, okay, so if I'm going to try and program this and make the robot ace, how do we get the robot ace to decide that it's not taking a trade that's too far against the prevailing trend for the day? And then you're saying, okay, like a 50-minute moving average, it's too slow. You get the problem? But there are degrees of not being able to fill in your contracts. There are always dumber people than you are. They're willing to sell you. Well, okay, but you're potentially talking about something completely different at that point, right? You're using a 4-tick stop. Oh, that's impressive. Oh, okay. I misread what was Ace was saying. I get what you're saying now, guys. All right. Well, so I'm just saying, like, when I come in here, let's go deeper into this, because apparently you guys still don't get what I'm saying. So Ace says that I made more money when I lose in my stop. Well, you'll always make more money when you lose in your stop up. Like, you think about it. Your stop is the amount of risk that you take on. The more risk that you take on, the higher the potential reward that you can get, assuming that you set your reward ratio appropriately. And then which one? Because I don't think the first one was the one that oh yeah, actually it is. Okay. Okay, so I've got here ace 1, and we're going to just do a reward factor of 1 with an 8-tick stop, and we're going to trade it on 1-minute bars. All right, include commissions. And we're going to go all the way back to 2016 to run this back test. Oops. And we're going to run it on the S&P 500. Okay. I love that I've been replaced by a machine. Well, it's the best way to show what the issues with the benefits and issues with the strategy are, right? Okay. Okay, now it's using the instrument trading hours. We could go back and because he usually only takes them early in the morning. So we can say, let's just use the trading hours that we're here on the stream. But just note there that the profit factor was 0.78 on that. That is the setup as it was explained to me. Like, just purely the pure setup. Okay, 0.81. So it does work better during our time period. Okay, so when we look at it that way, that's just with like the parts of the strategy that Ace could enumerate to me the best, I guess you could say. Right? That's what it does. It doesn't make money. Just with what he said. Okay. Now, if we come in here, which one? I think that 4 was the best one, right? Oh, actually, there was these ones here too, huh? Oh, I forgot about all that. Okay. So now I'm going to show you some of these other ones that I've tested. So here's this one was just on this year's data because I believe that it required, what was ASAR? Oh, no, that one is fine. Actually, so we can go back and we can do this one all the way back to 2016 as well. Okay. So the difference with this one, ACE, is that it requires a certain amount of auto correlation in the trend in order for it to actually take one. Okay. Basically, it's using R squared to determine that there's already a degree of autocorrelation. Yeah, okay, so when I go back 4 years, that one also does not show itself as profitable. Oh, why is it not? Oh, because I have it set up to not. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Dang it, did I just close that window? Oh my gosh, I need to stop doing that. I've opened this window and closed it like 20 times today. Let me just come in here and comment out that include trade history and backtest faults line. Trading outside of algos and robot trading, how much technical analysis training have you had? Oh man, I've read so many books, and I would say there are very few technical indicators and setups that I'm not familiar with. And I've gone through and I've back tested almost all of the popular ones to some degree or another and found that they don't work. Like you're talking to a guy that there are so many that I don't show you guys, because if there's like nothing to it, then I just don't show you. Okay, there you go. So apparently this didn't do very well in 2018, but then over the past year or two, it's been doing okay. All right. Win rate is pretty close to even. Okay, that's the Ace R. All right. I think the most effective one was 5. Yeah. Oops, I forgot to include the commission. Sorry. Okay, there you go. Okay, so here's this one. Ace 5. Ooh. Must not have been that one. Let's go back to Ace 4. Make sure we include commission this time. Deviation to, okay, yeah. So this one is waiting for some sort of a deviation in terms of it's almost like an alligator. Okay, but here's the real chartists here. Yeah, I'll tell you straight up, I believe that the majority of technical analysis is complete bullshit. So here is just an example of where I'm showing you. This is Ace's setup optimized. It works over the past 2 years, but it doesn't work always. Yeah. And there's this human element in it. How does he do it? How does he he doesn't take as many trades. Like I'm going to guarantee you if we come back and we look at the number of trades that Ace has taken, I don't think, well, it might actually be more than 639, but it's going to be a different set of trades. There's going to be a different set of trades. You say nonsense, but it's the truth, dude. Do you have any idea how many studies there have been by academics and frankly quant firms and banks trying to find short-term inefficiencies in the market? And like these are things that like a moving average, just as an example, just the trade back and forth of a moving average. I bet you that like in 1980 maybe it had some edge, but since then everybody has the ability to do it and they can all see it, and that edge has essentially been all mined out. I love it when folks who don't trade tell folks who do that it doesn't work. Well, I'm just like, here's the thing is that I'm just giving you straight up quantitative evidence here about a particular setup that over the past 4 years is not profitable. Now, if you're trading it and you're making money, and we know that Ace has been trading it and he has been making money, then there is more to the setup than what he realizes. And there's something about how he decides which ones to take and which direction he decides to take them and so forth that is not included in the programming, right? Or is just so happened that for the past 2 years, and it's really that period that it's been working has been the time that he's been sharing it with us, that it's just, it's been working, and that at some point in the future the market's going to turn and it's going to start losing money. Technicals are the language of the market. How do you know that, Blunt? Like here's what am I trying to get at here? Oh man, it's time for me to go. Prove it. I'm giving you hard numbers here, guys. You have something, then tell me what to write and we'll write it and we'll show if it works or not. I can't remember what the setup was that Gary showed with us, but my recollection was that we didn't really have a way to, it wasn't what Gary said was put this indicator on there and just watch it, and we didn't have like an actual set strategy with it. Anyways, I do need to get going now. Yeah, you can't write what you don't understand. I can, here's the thing is you just say, here are the indicators that I put in, and here are the conditions when I get in, and I can write it. But that's the problem, is that I'm going to bet you that you'll come in and you will say, well, here's what you do, and you will realize that it is not as set out as you think it is. I'm learning Python. Is that enough? Yeah, you could get a lot done with Python, although I'm going to bet that Python's not going to be as popular now that Quantopian is shut down, because most of the people were getting the data from there. Keep an open mind? No. Absolutely not. Here's how this works. You back test it, and it's profitable or it's not. If you want to say something is profitable, you have to provide evidence that shows that it actually is. And here's what I'm saying. There have been study after study after study, people going through endless, thousands, millions of setups technical setups of the nature that you're talking about, and they don't make money. So to say that the technicals is the language of the market, it's no. There might be some really obscure setup in there that most of us don't know about, that none of us have ever heard of before. But this idea that you can just put a bunch of indicators on a chart and trade successfully is just an absolute joke. Yeah, they're an indicator company. Well, anyways, we have found some narrow situations that there appears to be some edge. For instance, this indicator that we wrote that we've been running today, the inventory bar is the one. It takes a lot of trades. It goes short. It does better on short, so I'm just having it only do shorts, and it made $3,000 today. That's pretty cool. And that's based on something really complicated, by the way. Took a lot to get there. But anyways, it's time for me to go. I will just leave you with this. You give me a clear setup that is, here is when you get in and here's where you get out. And it has to be quantitative. It has to be when this goes over this and this and this. And then that's when you take the trade. And I will write it and we'll see if it works. And I've got all the time in the world to do that sort of thing. Anyways, it's time for me to go. New Year starts with Bloodbath. That's today's thing. Yeah, I miss you too, Ace. Anyways, the interesting thing about all of that is that, when you go back to 2016, it doesn't work. But when you go over the last 2 years, it's worked really great. I don't know why that is, but it's a thing. We need to figure out why that is. Stay profitable, friends.